Alrighty, the Australian federal election is here, and this video is for the voters that no longer trust the Liberal Party, they no longer trust the Labor Party, and they no longer trust the respective sister parties, the Nationals and the Greens. In this video, I'm going to give you some recommendations on how to vote in the Australian election if you want to get the major parties out of your electorate. And I'm also going to give you a look at an example electorate with information about the candidates and tips on how to find background info on your local candidates. If you didn't already know, there is also an opportunity to bet on the election, so I'm going to include a little information on that as well. So let's start with the basics and a quick definition of electorate. A geographical location that has one member of parliament elected by the people living in that location. And here are some examples.
Fowler in Western Sydney is currently held by Labor and has been since its existence. It takes in suburbs including Warwick Balme, Fairfield, St John's Park, Prairie Wood and Edensor Park. Kooyong in Victoria is currently held by the Liberal Party with Josh Frydenberg repping the area. It includes suburbs Balwyn, Kew, Hawthorn, Glen Iris and Surrey Hills. Andrew Hastie of the Liberal Party represents the Kenning electorate in WA. The ex-army man failed to lift a finger for overgoverned folks from Waroona, Pinjarra, Mandurah and Serpentine. Vote him out.
And now this is how you can find your electorate.
Simply type AEC Australia into your chosen search engine. Select Australian Electoral Commission from the list that appears. Then you find yourself at the Electoral Commission website. Select Information Centre. From the drop down, choose Find My Electoral Division, and I believe the easiest way from there is to change the search parameter to postcode and just enter your postcode. Everyone knows their postcode. The battle is not over yet though, because as you see here, sometimes a suburb is divided by electoral borders. If that's the case for you, click on the detailed map of the electoral division of whatever electorate you're looking at, in this case Shortland. And so voila, the map appears on screen and you can use your phone's controls or whatever device you're using to zoom in and get the precise streets that belong in that particular electorate. You can get more info about your electorate, including how it got its name and your current standing member. In the case of Shortland, it's Fat Pat Conroy of the Labor Party. You can find out what issues your Member of Parliament has been supporting by visiting the website theyvoteforyou.org.au. Follow the instructions, and here we can see that Pat has consistently voted for a carbon price and a fast transition to renewable energy. That runs counter to what his Labor counterpart in the neighbouring electorate of Hunter is saying, but that's the Australian Labor Party. They think Australians are stupid. Vote them out.
Okay, now we're going to take a look at an electorate I know very well. It's Shortland. People who live in the suburbs of Newcastle and Lake Macquarie make up this electorate. Beautiful place, takes in the beachside suburbs Redhead, Swansea, Budgewoi and more lakeside suburbs such as Eleebana, Spears Point and the industrial Cardiff. Sadly, the electorate has always been under the rule of an Australian Labor Party MP. Now, if you're like me and you want to change that, just follow my guide on how to vote them out coming up. Let's take a quick glance at the candidates for Shortland and I'll show you how you can find more info on them. Bree may be vaguely attractive, but I wouldn't let her near my kids. Her Animal Justice Party wants all women to have access to affordable abortion and for half of the planet to be free from human interference. They also want to kill greyhound and horse racing. Fuck.
Basil Painter.
A vote for Basil is a vote for someone who's trying to please everyone.
You can't do that.
Don't waste your vote.
Barry Reid.
Barry Reid may be the man to help put an end to Australia's humanitarian crisis caused by the overhyped virus and its subsequent forced vaccinations and business closures. Give him a shout.
Nell McGill.
The mum of three is definitely the best looking candidate, but her boss ScoMo wants to hand over Australia's sovereignty to China and Bill Gates funded World Health Organisation. Put the majors last.
Fat Conroy.
A big hand for Pat Conroy. Fat Pat's a regular at United Nations climate change conferences. Pat never responds to correspondence from his constituents unless it aligns with his pet causes, crushing the mining industry, selling contracts to renewable energy producers, and increasing our intake of asylum seekers. Sack the rat.
Kenneth Maxwell.
Kenneth has spent a lifetime working to ensure the safety of his community. In the current climate, the United Australia Party candidate is urging that we break the shackles of COVID-19 and return to our previous lives of freedoms. Give him a vote.
Kim Grierson.
Kim is your stereotypical greenie. She wants to stop all the pollution coming from local power plants. She thinks the environment is on the verge of total collapse, but she thinks everyone should get free dental treatment and free university educations. Time and money aren't free, Kim.
Quinton King.
Kingy said it from the start. He doesn't want to be a career politician, but he refuses to stand by while his country is ravaged by the United Nations via the pandemic mandates and climate hysteria. Vote 1, Quinton King.
Well, here it is, my recommendations on how to vote in the federal election of Shortland if you want to get rid of the major parties. I've listed the One Nation candidate first, as he really appealed to me with his calls to stop the COVID-19 mandates and his declaration that he didn't think it was fair that Australia cancels coal while China expands their coal-powered energy production. So, you're thinking about betting on the election. Be warned that sometimes election betting can leave a bad taste in your mouth. Just like racing and sports, election results can be fiddled with. Anyway, here are 3 small bets that I had. You can bet on a so-called minor party winning a lower house seat. That is a position in the House of Reps. In all their history, I don't think One Nation has done that, but at 30 to 1, I thought the odds were irresistible. If it's ever going to happen, it's now. I have the same bet going on the United Australia Party, only at smaller odds. And in electorate betting within New South Wales, I've taken a punt on local miner Stuart Bonds in the Hunter electorate. He's at 17 to 1. Don't forget, vote majors last and sack them all.